Let intention drive you. Stay humble. Love what you do. I've been a photographer for almost 5 years now, and I've heard a lot of people talking about exposure and all of this, like exposure this, no, don't let them pay you in exposure, and all of that. And I've had my fair share of experiences, by the way, of getting paid in exposure. And so today I just want to talk about like exposure, getting paid in exposure, my thoughts, my own personal thoughts, and I might just also share my own experiences with getting paid in exposure. Actually, let me start with my own experiences. One of the most vivid occasions that I got paid with exposure was when I was a photographer, and I also did videos for a certain fitness center of some sort. I don't wanna say fitness center. I say fitness center of some sort in Durban. So I started out, it was like, hey, I was really pumped, I was really amped, I was like, yeah. And every week I had to go to this place, my own transport, my own equipment, my time, after work. It was after work, mind you. I think I did it for like 3 months. Every week it was, yeah, like I did it every week. There was a time when I used to do it even twice a week. So, and when did I decide to stop partaking in this whole fitness wellness center experience? It was when the guy who runs it, the guy who like I worked for basically, when he said to me, when he asked me that I borrow another person who was working in the team my camera, that's when I was like, no, okay, I need to like draw the line now. Like, this is where it ends, this is where it stops, this is where it ends. He first said I should give the person my memory card, and I was like, okay, cool, it's a memory card, you know. I gave the person my memory card, and then the following week the guy was like, hey, can you please borrow this person your camera? I was like, okay, no, this is my own money. Like, I saved very hard for this camera. It was quite something for me. So that didn't sit well with me. The fact that someone is not paying me, the fact that I am like here investing my time, investing as much as it was a growing experience for me, because at that time I was really in like the beginning stages of my photography career, and so as much as for me, I took it as an experience to build myself and to build my career and all of that. But the moment someone says your equipment must go to someone else, what if this person breaks my camera? What if anything can happen in life? So that was when I decided to draw the line, and I was like, nope, I'm good. I'm not going back there. So that is just like one of my own experiences with exposure. I just want to state that I don't think that exposure is a bad thing. It is not totally a bad thing, depending on several factors. And this also, I look at exposure more as a stepping stone. I look at it as a stepping stone to allow you to enter another level. Like I said, with my own experience, it was a way for me to learn more, because I was in the beginning stages of my career, you know. And the fact that the outcome was needed as soon as possible, like I would shoot content in like the afternoon, and then by tomorrow morning I had to like have sent it to the person who needed it so that they can post on social media and all of that. So it was like, like fast paced, like, and that taught me something, moving in speed and all of that. But I had to draw the line eventually. So exposure is really just a stepping stone into another level. Let's look at it like that. And I just want to also highlight the fact that you have to prioritize. If you have a number of responsibilities, if you need money to do certain things, like, prioritize that. I live at home. Well, at that time I lived at home, and unfortunately I still live at home. So due to that, it is easier for me to take risks than someone else, than someone who's living on his or her own, someone who has to feed or provide for themselves and all of that. So that's like the first thing. Where are your priorities? Ask yourself that question. What are your priorities? And then you can then, like, be able to divide the work span, or like divide the work capacity that you can, like, take on exposure. The second thing that I have learned is the fact that you must know what you want out of that experience, that whole exposure experience. Because with me being a beginner photographer, and I knew that I just wanted to enhance my work, and I also just wanted someone who expects the product, who expects the final product of what I have to offer. So, that also creates, like, that your work process and your work ethic in a way. That's what I wanted. And I have to say, I got that. Like, I'd be lying if I said I didn't get that. I got that. I only left because it was starting to be disrespectful. So when you work for exposure, regardless of what it is, whether you are, I don't know what else people do out there besides being a creative, make sure that you know what you want from that experience. Be very, be very intentional about that, and be able to measure your growth. If you're looking for growth, if you're looking for new networks, if you're looking, like, just be sure. Another thing, like, the last thing, I feel like this is the last thing I've learned. Well, actually not the last thing, second last thing, is the fact that have a limit, have a time limit as to how long am I doing this. IsiZulu sithi okungapheli kuyahlola. It is very important for you to know that I'm doing this thing for only this period, and after that I need to be able to measure my growth. I need to be able to see what I've gained from this. I need to be calculate all that you want, because it's a form of leverage. Working for exposure is a form of leverage. So make sure that you set a time period for yourself, a time frame, that I'm only doing this for so long, and thereafter I'm going to move on from it. The last thing that I've learned, and this is something that I'm starting to apply in my own life now, it is very important for us to understand that we're at different levels, right, in our careers. And some people are at the beginning stage, they're beginners, some are at the intermediate phase, some are like at the advanced level. So know that out of exposure, you can actually have a trade exchange. So by trade exchange, what do I mean? Let's say I get to work for Valpre. I just love water, so I get to work for Valpre, and it's pronounced Valpre, right? Hey guys, whatever it is, hey. But yeah, I get to work for Valpre, and why do I feel like I'm pronouncing it incorrectly? But yeah, I get to work for Valpre, and I set my time for 3 months. So I'm working for them for 3 months, and what do I want from them? That's a very important question. What do you want from these people? Okay, firstly, this is a huge brand that's like my first huge brand that I'm working with. So this is an exposure gig. So I want from them, I want a trade exchange. So I want to include them in my portfolio. Going onwards, I want to make them a list of my include them in the list of clients when I showcase my work to prospective clients and to, future clients, I say I have worked with Valper before, you know? So looking for things like that, I want them to tag me on their posts, and so that, people know that I did this. That's like another form of trade exchange. Or maybe I also want like a year-long supply of water, that could be something. So I really don't want us to look at exposure as a bad thing. Exposure can be a good thing depending on how you use it, and also depending on what you want from it. It's very important to know what you want from something. Like, if you do not set your own boundaries, if you do not set your own outcomes, if you do not set your own ROI, return on investment, you are the one who's going to be hurt in the end. Because the brand, trust me, the brand has a plan. The people who hire you already have a plan. They already have a plan for you, so you must also have a plan for them. And this goes for everyone, regardless whether you're a creative, regardless, like, everyone. Even in, I don't know, corporate. I don't know what happens in corporate, guys, forgive me, but I genuinely think that you must know what you want out of every situation you put yourself in, and don't look at exposure as a bad thing. It can be a good thing, and it can also open doors for you in other ways. So please don't limit yourself and say, no, I don't work for exposure, I don't work for exposure. Just make sure they don't take you for a ride. And the only way to make sure that they don't take you for a ride is if you set your own standards as well. So that's it for me this Friday. I hope you enjoyed, I hope you learned something, and more than anything else, I really hope that we can all grow together.